The Constitution of India, Preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution.
Happy morning, my dear children. Today, this session, I begin with a short story. I think you would have gone through this story before also, as it was said by Ashwini teacher in a thought for the day. The story goes like this. It is a story of a frog who want to climb the tree, and around this frog, many other frogs were also present there, who were just looking the frog, whether the frog is able to climb or not. So once it started to climb, it fell down. Again it tried. The frog tried and frog started to climb the tree. The other frog, they started to make noise. They said it is impossible, impossible, you cannot climb the tree. But the way how the other frogs were shouting, this frog thought that these other frogs, they were making or helping the frog to climb the tree. That is, they were motivating this frog. So this frog again tried, and at last the frog climbed the tree. So my dear children, from this story I want to say that be deaf for the negative thought. As in the story, the frog was deaf. The frog was not able to hear what the other frog were saying. But from the gesture, or we can say from the body language, the frog thought that these frogs, they were motivating him. In our life also we were having negativity, isn't it? Negativity surrounding us. So we should not give ear to the negativity, as we are having an aim, or we can say a goal where we have to focus. If we are focusing to the aim or goal, we should be always positive, and when we are positive, surely we will be reaching the goal and we will be filled with joy and we will be happy throughout our life. So by telling this short and beautiful story, I just move on to the next session. Already we have understood or we learned about the structure of eye, as well as we understood the structure of ear. Now I move on to the next part, next topic, and that is, how is hearing possible? So here you can observe the illustration of uncoiled cochlea. We know the structure of cochlea. It is in the form of snail's shell, and here when the cochlea is uncoiled, we can see two parts, that is oval window and round window. In the case of oval window, we can see membrane C attached to the stapes which separate the vibration of ear ossicle to the inner ear. Oval window is a membrane which is attached to the stape, and it spreads the vibration. It spreads the vibration of the ear ossicle, which are the ear bones, to the inner ear. And near to the oval window, we can see round window. It helps in the movement of fluid inside the cochlea. So here you can see cochlea and the fluid movement. In this case, you can see upper chamber is there, middle chamber is there, and lower chamber is also present there in the structure of cochlea. So we can see cochlea and its feature. Cochlea is a coiled tube-like snail shell. It consists of three chambers: upper chamber, middle chamber, lower chamber. You can see next part, sensory hair cells are present in the basilar membrane which separates the middle and the lower chamber present in the cochlea. So here you can see the upper chamber is here, next is the middle chamber, and then you can see the lower chamber. Between the middle chamber and the lower chamber we can see the basilar membrane where sensory hair cells are present, and these basilar membrane functions as auditory receptors. In the basilar membrane we have seen sensory hair cells, and these sensory hair cells, they are the auditory receptors. Therefore it is said as basilar membrane functions as auditory receptors. The basilar membrane and the sensory hair cell together constitute organ of Corti. Together, basilar membrane and sensory hair cell is known as organ of Corti. I think you would have understood the structure of cochlea, my dear children. Once again, I will repeat. The structure of cochlea, as I told you, it is in the form of a snail's shell, and it is having 3 chambers: upper chamber, middle chamber, and the lower chamber. And the middle as well as the lower chamber is separated by a basilar membrane, and this basilar membrane consists of sensory hair cells, which are also known as auditory receptors. I think you would have understood the structure of cochlea very well. And one more thing, in the structure of cochlea, in this membrane there is a fluid present, and that is known as endolymph. Now we can see how the functioning of ear is taking place in the form of a flow chart. When the sound wave enters into the pinna, that is the sound wave with the air, it just hit the pinna, and the pinna direct the sound waves into the auditory canal. From there, the sound waves hits the tympanum and vibration is taking place. And because of the vibration of tympanum, that vibration moves on to the middle ear where ear ossicles are present, and these ear ossicles are malleus, incus and stapes. These 3 bones, they will vibrate, and that vibration from the oval window enters into the cochlea where sensory hair cells are present, due to which the impulses are formed, and these impulses with the help of auditory nerves reaches the cerebrum, and we know that cerebrum is a part of brain where interpretation of the impulses will be taking place. In that manner, sense of hearing is made possible. So this is how we are able to hear when the sound waves enters into the cochlea. So my dear children, you have understood about the sense of hearing related to cochlea. Now the next one is ear and body balance. As we have already discussed previously that the ear is not only helping in hearing, it is also maintaining the balance of the body. So we should know how the ear is connected with body balance. So in that first point, movement of the head. When we tilt our head left or right, down or up, what will happen? The movement of the endolymph present in the vestibule and the semicircular canal will be taking place. That is, in the semicircular canal as well as in the vestibule, endolymph is present there, which is a fluid. When we move the head, what will happen? Endolymph, which is a fluid present there, will start to move, and that causes the sensory hair cells to get stimulated. Second, the sensory hair cells are also present there in the semicircular canal as well as in the vestibule. So these sensory hair cells, they will be getting stimulated, and because of the movement of this sensory hair cells, what will happen? Generate impulses, and that impulses are transmitted to the cerebellum. It is not cerebrum, but it is cerebellum. particular nerve. It is not auditory nerve. My dear children, it should be clear that auditory nerves are connected with cochlea, which is helping in hearing, and that is the portion which is being connected with the cerebrum. And here the impulses, they will be transmitted to the cerebellum with the help of vestibular nerves, which are the nerves connected to semicircular canal as well as vestibules. And in that manner, we can see equilibrium of the body is maintained. So my dear children, I think you have understood how the ear is connected to the body balance. We can see a video related to ear and body balance. So my dear children, you can watch a video.
Topic: ear. How do ears help with balancing? They really do. You don't believe me. Okay, can you play guitar and walk at the same time? How do you think you are able to maintain your balance? Do you know why you can't balance yourself anymore? Wait, I will tell you. This happens because there is a connection between our ears and body balance. Our ear consists of 3 parts: outer ear, middle ear, and inner ear. Our inner ear works in sync with our eyes and muscles, helping us maintain balance while we are doing various activities. The inner ear consists of 3 semicircular canals called superior semicircular canal, posterior semicircular canal, and a lateral semicircular canal. The 3 semicircular canals are arranged in 3 different positions. Each of these canals has a fluid called endolymph and hair cells called cilia at the base. Whenever we move our head, the fluid moves, resulting in the movement of the cilia as well. When the cilia moves, it sends signals to the brain informing which direction our head has just moved in. Each canal has different functions as per the movement of our head. Hooray! When we move our head up and down, the superior semicircular canal helps our brain to understand the yes motion. When we tilt our head towards our shoulders, the posterior semicircular canal helps our brain to understand the tilting motion. When we move our head from side to side, the lateral semicircular canal helps our brain to understand the no motion. It was too complicated, right? Okay, don't worry about it. Relax. Why don't you go on a merry-go-round? Hey, why were you not able to maintain your balance? This is because when you sat in the merry-go-round and started rotating, the fluid in the semicircular canals also started to move. After a while, it was moving at the same rate at which you were moving. However, when the ride stopped and you got down from the ride, the fluid was still in motion due to inertia. Hence, even though you were not moving, the moving fluid gave your brain false information telling you that you are still in motion. Thus, you are not able to maintain your balance.
Okay, my dear children, now you have understood more clearly about how the ear is connected or is related with the ear body balance. Now the next one is to detect taste. So the next sense organ present in our body which is helping to detect taste is the tongue. And on the tongue we can see taste buds. And these taste buds, they are having chemoreceptors which are helping for detecting different taste. So here you can see taste buds. The projected structures seen on the surface of the tongue are called papilla. When we are seeing the tongue, you can see projected small parts will be seen on the surface of the tongue. Those projected parts are called papilla. And here you can see the structure where this is the tongue, and this tongue is having four parts where you will be able to detect four primary tastes. Number one, you can see here bitter. Bitter is we detected here. That means in this area we will be able to detect bitter. And next one, sour. You can see sour is this area that is on the two sides of the tongue, as well as you can see salt, that is little bit to the lower part, and sweet is on the tip of the tongue. So these are certain areas present on the tongue which are able to detect these four primary tastes. See my dear children, when we eat tamarind, when you are keeping tamarind in the center of the tongue, you will not feel any taste. But when you are taking it on the left side or the right side of the tongue, surely what you will feel there. Yes, my dear children, that is the sour part, isn't it? Same way when we are keeping or when we are putting a sugar or a pinch of sugar is being kept on the tip of the tongue, what will happen? We will be able to detect there whether it is sweet or sour, isn't it? In the same way for the bitter, when a bitter medicine is being given to us, when we are keeping or when we are keeping that bitter medicine in the tip of the tongue or in the middle of the tongue, you will not be able to detect whether it is bitter or not. But when we swallow it, that time, this area, when it enters, that time we feel the taste of bitterness. So, in that area, it detects the bitterness. Now, I think you would have understood these are the four primary tastes which the tongue detects. Now, here in this picture you can see this is the part of taste bud, where you can see taste receptors are on the tongue and they are small bumps called taste buds, and where this taste buds help us taste the different flavors. So here it is, you can see the taste buds are there and this is the taste receptor cell. This is the receptor cell, isn't it? And what is happening there? When we keep a food particle on the tongue, that time this taste buds which is having papilla, that papilla will be getting stimulated as the tongue. It consists of chemoreceptor and the chemoreceptors will be receiving the particles. Because of that, impulses are formed there, and these impulses will be taken to the brain or the cerebrum with the help of sensory nerves, and we will be able to experience different taste. So, my dear children, see, you can see here the part seen on the papilla that detect taste are called taste buds, and chemoreceptors are seen inside the mouth, mainly on the surface of the tongue. Substances responsible for taste. So, when we eat food particle, which is needed there, which we should know which is the taste there related to that food particle, when they are taken inside the mouth, that time it will dissolve with the saliva. This is the first step. Okay. Second step, chemoreceptors are stimulated, then impulses are generated. These impulses reach the cerebrum through sensory nerve and we experience the taste. So this is how we are able to experience the taste. Now I think, my dear children, you would have understood how we are able to detect the taste or how we are able to experience the taste. Now the next one is to detect smell. Like eye, ear, tongue, there is another sense organ present in our body which is able to detect smell, and that is the nose. How do we detect smell? How we are able to detect smell? We can analyze this picture. Here you can see structure of inner part of the nose is given there. In that you can see olfactory nerves are present there, mucous gland is also there, olfactory receptor is present there, as well as this is the nasal cavity, isn't it? So what is happening there? See, here you can see picture of figure of olfactory receptors and the mucus. Now what is happening there, my dear children? When the smell particle, or we can say when the fragrance present in the air, when it enters into the nose, or we can say when it enters through the nasal cavity, inside the nose there are olfactory receptors which are present, and they will detect it and they will receive it. And when they receive this smell particles, what will happen? It will convert it into impulses, and when the impulses are formed as such, it will be taken to the cerebrum with the help of sensory nerves, and we are able to detect the smell. This is how we are able to detect the smell. So here you can see stages related to the process smell. Number 1, aromatic particles diffuse in the air and enter the nostril. Second step, these aromatic particles dissolve in the mucus inside the nostril. Now, when they dissolve, what will happen? Olfactory receptors, they are stimulated, impulses are generated, and these impulses enter the cerebrum through sensory nerves, and later on, from the interpretation in the brain, what will happen? We are able to experience the smell. In this manner, we are able to do olfaction, or we are able to experience the smell. And last but not the least, in our body, there is the largest sense organ present, which is having many, or we can say numerous receptors to detect the stimulus, and that is, we can say here in the picture you can see hair, hot receptor, skin surface, then pain receptor, touch receptor, cold receptor, again pressure receptor, touch receptor. So you can see numerous receptors are present there which are able to detect the stimuli. That is, for example, if it is the hot utensil we are going to touch, automatically what will happen? All receptors will be getting stimulated. Same way on the skin, pain receptors are present there. You can see the figures are also related to it. These figures are important, my dear children. Here you can see in the case of pain receptors, they are present on the surface of the skin, and if we are touching the thorn, or unknowingly the thorn is pricked into our hand or beneath our leg, what will happen? We will be experiencing pain. It's because the pain receptors are getting stimulated there. The same way, cold is there, pressure is there. So all these receptors which are present there in our skin are able to receive the stimuli, and in the same manner impulses will be formed there, and thus will be taken to the cerebrum with the help of sensory nerves, and from the cerebrum the interpretation will be done and the necessary action will be given back to the skin, so that we will be able to detect the different types of stimulus. So my dear children, you would have understood about the receptors present in the skin. Now the next topic is, as not only in the human body receptors are present there, but we can see receptors present in different types of organisms also. So there are certain organisms which we want to study in this chapter. Number 1, planaria. You would have studied about planaria in 9th standard, isn't it? So planaria is having eye spot, and it is able to detect light. Okay, so here one word is missing, my dear children. It is eye spot. The planaria is having an eye spot, and this eye spot, it consists of photoreceptors, and photoreceptors, they are able to detect the light. And number 2 is housefly. We know about housefly. Housefly is having ommatidia in the eye, and the eye consists of a cluster of photoreceptors. That means this ommatidia is the compound eye which is present there in the housefly, and that compound eye, what does that mean? It is having clusters of photoreceptors. That is, thousands of eyes are together combining, forming a compound eye in the case of housefly. And that's why clusters of photoreceptors are present there, and these clusters of photoreceptors are called ommatidia, which are able to detect again the light. Now in the case of snake, shark, we can see lateral line to detect the change in balancing the body. That is, in the case of shark, we can see on the 2 sides lateral line is present there, and these lateral lines, they are able to balance the snake when they are into the water, when they are swimming from one place to another place. The last one is snake. In the case of snake, we can see Jacobson's organ, and these are the olfactory receptors which are present there on the roof of the snake, and these olfactory receptors, when they are able to detect the olfactory particles, they will be getting stimulated, and due to which what will happen, impulses are generated and they are able to detect where is the prey present, and they will be able to prey. So this is what about the receptors present in the organisms other than us. Okay, so from this we can conclude that not only in us receptors are present there, but in the case of other organisms which are surrounding us, they are also having receptors which are able to receive the stimulus, and accordingly what will happen, the responses they will be getting that. So my dear children, I think you would have understood this session very clearly, very nicely. With this, your second chapter is getting completed, and my dear children, just go through the lesson clearly and clear your doubt and be on the track. As I told you, focus on the goal, then only you will be successful, as well as you will feel happiness in your life. So with this, I wind this session, and we will be meeting in the next session. Till then, my dear children, have a nice